A white newsman, Bill Plante, who covered the marches then and who is with us here today, quipped that the growing number of white people lowered the quality of the singing. To those who marched, though, those old gospel songs must have never sounded so sweet.
Yes, indeed, he was there. CBS News correspondent Bill Plante, who is covering the events in Selma today, marking the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. We close with some thoughts Bill would like to share.
When I came to Selma as a young reporter 50 years ago, it was instant culture shock. The division between black and white was deeply woven into everyday life. Segregation was a reality, even though it was no longer the law.
Negro leaders know that the ballot is one of their most effective weapons.
I followed the daily demonstrations as people went to the courthouse to try to register as voters, and I saw them refused by a hostile sheriff on narrow legal grounds. I was shocked by the raw hatred, and I was afraid. In a nearby town one night, the townspeople joined the troopers in clubbing demonstrators and newsmen. One young man was shot by a trooper and later died. His shooting was what sparked the march that began 50 years ago today and ended in bloodshed. And yet, despite the anger on both sides, what amazed me was that the protest remained nonviolent, even though, as a young John Lewis put it at the time, it's hard to love the person who's hurting me.
You are ordered to disperse, go home, or go to your church.
On Bloody Sunday, Lewis and others stood and waited as the troopers advanced with clubs and tear gas guns raised. What happened next jolted the conscience of the nation. When Dr. King, joined by thousands of people, did march a few weeks later and reached Montgomery, he predicted that segregation was on its deathbed in America. Congress passed the voting rights bill 5 months later. But 50 years of hindsight makes it clear that segregation hasn't died yet. What happened here didn't end racism in this country. That still exists. In economic inequality and criminal justice, and when the right to vote is still challenged. The struggle continues. The demonstrations were a game changer, but they were not the finish line. Bill Plante, CBS News, Selma.